Saving more money might be the worst financial advice you ever followed. Most people oversave and underspend the best years of their lives. Compound interest doesn't care if you contribute forever. There is a specific number where your savings become irrelevant. Past that number, time, not dollars, does all the work. Most Americans will never stop saving, not by choice. They keep contributing out of fear, not necessity. Fear of running out is not a financial problem. It's a math problem. And math problems have answers. The answer is called Coast Fire. Coast Fire, your money grows to your goal without another contribution. Most people hit this number earlier than they think. But they keep saving anyway, for years, unnecessarily. Every unnecessary year costs you experiences you can't buy back. Time at 65 is not the same as time at 40. The math doesn't lie. The fear does. 6 variables determine exactly when you can stop. Miss one variable and your retirement date moves by years. Most people know 1, maybe 2. The 4 they ignore are the ones that change everything. Inflation alone shifts your retirement number by hundreds of thousands. A 3% inflation rate doubles costs every 24 years. Social Security is free money most people forget to factor in. $1,900 per month per person changes the entire retirement equation. A seed you planted years ago is already growing without you. The problem isn't saving too little, it's saving past the point of impact. Each dollar saved past your coast number yields almost zero added security. But the cost of those dollars? Your 40s? Your 50s? You think the risk is saving too little? Actually, it's saving too long. The hidden cost of oversaving is measured in years, not dollars. The one more year trap steals an average of 4.7 years. 4.7 years of experiences gone for no mathematical reason. The 4% rule says 4% withdrawal sustains a portfolio indefinitely. That means a $2 million portfolio supports $80,000 per year. Add Social Security and your required portfolio drops dramatically. Most people calculate their number wrong from the start. They ignore Social Security, rental income, and future pension offsets. Ignoring those 3 variables adds years of unnecessary saving. Every wrong assumption costs you real time you will never get back. Run the right numbers. The system already has the answers. This video gives you the exact system to find your number. Real case study, real numbers, real outcome. A couple earning 180 already has enough. Most don't know it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand. But first, the number most people never bother to calculate. Your retirement number is not what you think. It's lower once you do the math correctly. Marcus earned $200,000 a year, drove a used Honda, rented a 2-bedroom. His coworker leased a BMW. Same salary, same start date, different system. 15 years later, Marcus reached Coast Fire. His coworker is still at the same desk. The difference was not income. It was the gap between earning and keeping. You think the problem is not earning enough. It isn't. It's the gap you keep. A 25% savings rate on $180,000 means $36,000 saved annually. But the real question is, how long until you don't need to save that $36,000 anymore? The 6-variable framework answers that precisely. Variable 1, your retirement number. Variable 2, your current savings and portfolio value, what you already have working. Variable 3, expected annual returns. Use 6% for conservative planning. Variable 4, your current savings rate, the lever most people underestimate. Meet Mike and Sarah. Combined income, $180,000. Portfolio, $895,000. Target, $2.1 million. Variable 5, your projected retirement spending. Mike and Sarah need $7,000 per month. Variable 6, other income sources. Social Security, rental income, any pension. For Mike and Sarah, Social Security alone offsets nearly half their monthly target. That reduces their required portfolio from $2.1 million to far less. Every income source you ignore adds tens of thousands to a portfolio you didn't need to build. Now, calculate your Coast Fire number. It's lower than most people expect. At 6% real return and a 2.1 million goal, the Coast number is 654,000. That means reach 654,000, stop contributing, and let compounding finish the job. But wait, that's the non-inflation adjusted number. In real dollars, it's 1180. Ignoring inflation in your Coast Fire calculation is the most expensive mistake you can make. At 3% annual inflation, your 80,000 target becomes 144,000 in 20 years. Mike and Sarah's inflation-adjusted goal is 3.79 million, not 2.1. That changes the Coast Fire number from 654 to 1.18 million. With a current portfolio of 895,000, they are already 76% there. At their current savings rate, they hit the Coast Fire threshold in approximately 12 years. When Mike is 57 and Sarah is 50, they can stop saving entirely. After that point, compounding alone grows their portfolio to the full retirement goal. No additional saving required. Not $1. The math is already done. Here's what that actually means for their paycheck starting year 13. $36,000 per year freed up. That is $3,000 every single month. Not retirement money. Life money. Right now. While you are still healthy and young enough to use it. And here's what you don't know yet. Stress testing this number reveals something most advisors never tell you. Stress testing means running your Coast Fire number at worst-case return assumptions. At 4% real return instead of 6, the Coast Fire number increases but remains reachable. Mike and Sarah's stress-tested Coast number still allows them to stop by their mid-50s. Even in the worst-case scenario modeled, they retire with more than they need. The system doesn't require perfect returns. It requires enough time and a correct starting number. VOO returned an annualized 10.6% over the last 30 years. 6% is conservative. VTI, the total market ETF, shows similar long-term performance, broadly diversified, low cost. A 1% fee difference on $200,000 over 30 years costs you $170,000. That $170,000 is gone, already spent by someone else, not by you. Low-cost index funds are not a preference. They are mathematically superior for long-term wealth. Now, here's the insight most financial advisors will never tell you about your own retirement. Their entire business model depends on you never realizing you don't need them anymore. If you ever subscribe to this channel, what you do with this next part is what separates outcomes. The best insight in this entire video: your wealth is not built by saving, it's built by waiting. Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. The data proves it. On a 30-year timeline, your last 10 years of growth exceed the first 20 combined. This means the longer you let it run without touching it, the more violently it grows. Every year, you delay starting costs $40,000 at retirement, not metaphorically, mathematically. That delay is invisible today. It costs everything at 65. Time is the only variable you cannot buy back. Not with more income, not with higher returns. But here's what the data also says. Once you've used time correctly, more is irrelevant. You think missing the Coast Fire threshold by a year matters? It barely does. The real risk is not timing the Coast Fire threshold wrong. It's never calculating it at all. Most Americans never run this number. They guess, they fear, they keep working. Mike and Sarah calculated it. That single action is worth more than a decade of extra saving. If your savings rate is under 15% right now, the next part is directly about you. Below 15%, every year you wait to increase, it costs you years at the other end. A 5% increase in savings rate today can cut your required working years by 3 to 5. The fundamentals still apply. Emergency fund, no high-interest debt, major expenses planned. Skip the fundamentals, and your Coast Fire number becomes a fantasy, not a plan. Now we build the actual system. Step 1. Calculate your real retirement number using all 6 variables. Start with your expected annual retirement spending. Use today's dollars. Inflation adjusts later. Divide your annual spending by 4% to get your base retirement number. That is the 4% rule. Now, subtract the annual value of any guaranteed income: Social Security, pension, rental income. The result is the portfolio size you actually need, often significantly less than people assume. Step 2. Run your Coast Fire calculation. Divide your real retirement number by 1.06 raised to years remaining. Compare that Coast Fire number to your current portfolio. The gap tells you exactly how long to keep saving. If your current portfolio already exceeds your Coast Fire number, you may be done today, right now. Most people reading this right now are closer to the finish line than they believe. Step 3. Stress test. Recalculate at 4% real return. If it still works, you have a plan. If the 4% scenario fails, you need a slightly higher Coast Fire number before stopping contributions. A buffer of 10 to 15% above your Coast Fire number covers most realistic worst-case scenarios. Marcus reached his Coast Fire number at 42. He stopped contributing, invested in experiences instead. He redirected $3,000 a month into experiences, health, and his family, not a portfolio that no longer needed it. His coworker is still contributing 20% of every paycheck, still afraid, still calculating wrong. Step 4. Maximize your life. Redirect freed capital consciously, not randomly. Freed capital spent without intention is money wasted twice, once in the earning, once in the spending. The transition from saver to deliberate liver is the hardest psychological shift in personal finance. Most people who hit Coast Fire keep saving anyway. The identity of a saver is hard to shed. Psychologically, oversaving feels safe. Mathematically, it costs you the best years of your life. The permission to stop saving is not recklessness. It's the result of doing the math correctly. The checklist before stopping: emergency fund, no high-interest debt, major expenses accounted for. Kids' college, major home expenses, healthcare gaps, factor these in before you stop contributing. Ignoring a college fund while claiming Coast Fire can destroy a decade of compounding with one large withdrawal. Plan for large expenses, then recalculate, then stop saving. In that order, every time. The Roth IRA is your most tax-efficient growth vehicle. Max it before stopping contributions entirely. A maxed Roth IRA from 25 to 55 generates over $900,000 in tax-free wealth at 7%. Tax on that wealth: 0. That is not a small advantage, it is a structural wealth multiplier. VU inside a Roth IRA: low cost, tax-free growth. This combination is the engine of most wealth outcomes. The tree you planted at 25 does not need water at 50. It just needs time. The central metaphor of this entire framework: you are not building a portfolio, you are growing a tree. Every person who reads this today and calculates their Coast Fire number gains something money can't buy. They gain clarity. And clarity is what transforms a financial plan from anxiety into a system. A system tells you when to act. Anxiety just makes you act more often in the wrong direction. Automate contributions until you reach your Coast Fire number, then turn them off deliberately. Review your 6 variables once per year. Life changes. Numbers change. The framework adapts. New income, new expenses, new income sources, update the 6 variables, and the system self-corrects. This is not a set and forget system, it is a set and review system. Once a year, no more. By not reviewing annually, you risk missing a Coast Fire threshold you crossed 2 years ago. 2 years of unnecessary contributions at $3,000 per month is $72,000 of life lost. $72,000. Not in a down market, not from a bad investment, from not checking your own numbers. The system works. The only variable that ever fails is the human not running the numbers. Final chapter: Mike and Sarah in year 12. Mike is 57, Sarah is 50. Portfolio: 1.0